In Plato's Allegory of the Cave, a man chained up, trapped inside of a cave, is freed from his chains. Once he leaves the cave, he enters the world for the first time. He is confused at first, but then he learns more and becomes enlightened. He then returns to the cave and is mocked by those who are still chained up for being more enlightened than they are. Our group wonders, what it would look like if everyone would have left the cave with him the first time. If everyone left the cave with him, would it mean they all would have become more enlightened? Is having more people in our society being enlightened a good thing? Our society is more enlightened than we think. For example, quote, U.S. education and workforce training landscape has identified 738,428 unique credentials in the workforce, double the initial estimate of 334,114, end quote, from InsideHire.com.
In the allegory of the cave, I will be talking about the journey to get out of the cave. For my interview, I interviewed my uncle, Eddie Malone, an English professor at the University of Oklahoma. What he had to say is that the year with him is an intellectual journey with him and his students. As a teacher, he is the guide and the students are the explorers. In the end, he hopes that the students feel enriched by the journey of being in his class. The journey is the way of enlightenment to education, and it is a process to get there. You are not just going to get enlightened right away. We have so much more to learn. The more enlightened we become, the more we realize how little we know.
The article Do Schools Educate for Enlightenment by Matt Emerson states, conceived as the search for enlightenment, education becomes a journey, a pilgrimage. If done properly, this pursuit implicates the integrity of the whole person, his or her relationships, career choices, and major decisions. This quote upbrings the importance of educating to be a better person, but what if we strive for educating to be a better society? Thus leads to the question, how can we do that? During our journey to enlightenment, we have to consider what we will do with our education in the future. In an interview with my father, who is a successful entrepreneur and highly values education, he stated the responsibility of our education system is to educate people so that they can be sufficient and contribute to a better community. As students, we also have the responsibility to choose how the education we decide to pursue individually can help us contribute to bettering society. We can decide whether to join the workforce and contribute that way, or create new ways to fix problems our world faces today. Either way, we are contributing. But with more people on the creation side, who knows how amazing our world will be in the next 10 years. The more we are educated, the more we are able to contribute to our society.
But how does education enlighten not only the individual, but society as a whole? According to my 15-year-old cousin and Treasure Valley math and science student McKenna McKay, she states that enlightenment is the betterment of not just the individual learner, but the progression of the whole species. As we learn, we become healthier, more aware of our actions, and learn how to give meaning to our lives despite the impossibility of meaning. By this, she is stating that if everyone in one society was centrally educated, people would be able to make healthier decisions when impacting their life and those lives that surround them.
It is clear Plato wanted to free everyone from the cave, and it seems to be the goal of our society. Even if everyone were to become enlightened, our society would still need ditch diggers and patty flippers. However, one could argue if everyone were to become enlightened, then the less desirable jobs would become more revolutionary. Imagine a world where robots dug ditches and every burger is simply the best burger tasted. It seems like we are still pretty far away from reaching the society. So what's stopping us? Simple. It's ourselves. According to Whitehead, there can be no learning without interest. This means people are simply not interested in enlightening themselves because of previous experiences. They are still in the cave. How do they leave then? They need to solve their own problems. In other words, they need creativity. According to Mirka J. Needle, the authors of Creativity Should Be Taught as a Course, almost 9 out of 10 professionals overwhelmingly agree that creativity is required for economic growth. Schools are failing to teach creative skills making the students lack the proper skills in order to learn. My mom, Shelley Bowles, an elementary school art teacher, believes creativity and problem-solving skills are the key to enlightenment. If our school focused on developing creativity, then so many people would become enlightened.